Is the South African Broadcasting Corporation falling short on its constitutional requirements to disseminate information in a fair, balanced and accurate manner? This was the question before the court as the newly formed uMkhonto Sizwe Party hauled the SABC to the urgent court, alleging that the SABC is failing on its constitutional obligations by mimicking what it termed as the quote-unquote deception, that is the term Government of National Unity. Following the 2024 national and provincial elections, which saw the ANC dipping below 50%, President Cyril Ramaphosa formed the 7th administration with multiple political parties and termed it the Government of National Unity.
Now, please, let's understand this. This is not a criticism of whatever the purveyor of the fig leaf is. President Ramaphosa is entitled to fig leaf or hoodwink his own people and so on. This is not what this case is about. This case is about whether the SABC, this is a public broadcaster, should then be the mouthpiece that mimics that deception and gives it official respectability and feeds millions of people with the fig leaf.
Officer cautioned that one cannot assume that the minds of millions of people who rely on the SABC are susceptible to being easily poisoned by the use of the term.
Much as the SABC is the primary source of information for many people, one can't assume that just because the people are rural and illiterate, that they are unintelligent and politically unaware, and therefore susceptible to being easily poisoned by the use of this term.
Case counsel insisted that this isn't the question before the court.
With the greatest respect, it doesn't matter. We can assume that the people are so intelligent and astute and are able to see through the so-called fig leaf. That's not the issue before you, Malik. The issue is whether an organ of state to disseminating information to these intelligent, super intelligence geniuses of people is entitled or not to give them information that is inaccurate.
He vehemently opposed the application, arguing that it was not urgent, adding that it was inappropriate for an urgent court to deal with a novel matter like this. Advocate Mutau further explained the context upon which the SABC reports on the term of Government of National Unity, or GNU.
The question that is raised, even in our heads of argument, read in together with the answering affidavit, it is this. Does the SABC represent to be an arbiter? Apologize. An arbiter on the question, i.e., does the SABC endorse and or represent to the viewers that the usage of the term GNU is correct?
Yes.
Well, there's no such a thing. And in fact, that is not the applicant's case, because if that had been the case, we would be facing a different case. All that the SABC does is to report objectively that the government calls itself the Government of National Unity, but in that context, there is a debate.
The SABC has labelled the MK's action as an abuse of court process and a vexatious litigation. As a result, it is seeking costs, arguing that the MK party is not protected by the Biowatch principle, a general rule in constitutional litigation that an unsuccessful litigant in proceedings against the state ought not to be ordered to pay costs. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Johannesburg.